evidence of possible jury tampering in the O.J. Simpson case. Did it lead to this juror's dismissal?
If you had stayed on the jury, how would you have voted?
Guilty.
The first details of a 60 Minutes investigation. New hope this evening for cancer patients as the president lowers the hurdles for experimental drugs. And a reality check. Washington's billion-dollar monument to bureaucracy at your expense.
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. There is new evidence tonight of possible jury tampering in the O.J. Simpson trial. It may have led to the dismissal of a juror about halfway through the trial, a juror who could have made a big difference in the verdict. 60 Minutes correspondent Steve Croft and producer Howard Rosenberg have been investigating these explosive allegations. Steve is here now with details. Steve?
Dan, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office is now investigating the events surrounding the dismissal of Juror 353. An anonymous letter led to her being removed from the jury, but we've uncovered serious questions about the authenticity and the source of that letter. The juror in question is Francine Florio Bunton, a white, 39-year-old telephone company technician who was one of the best educated members on the panel. Deputy District Attorney William Hodgman supervised the Simpson prosecution.
Do you think it would have made a difference if Francine Florio Bunton had stayed on this jury? I certainly do.
In fact, Hodgman believes there is a good chance she would have voted guilty and stood her ground, creating a hung jury.
In that instance, we would have had an opportunity to retry Mr. Simpson, and that we certainly would have done. If you had stayed on the jury, how would you have voted?
Guilty.
You're sure of that?
I'm positive.
But Bunton never got the chance. He was dismissed by Judge Ito after he received this anonymous 5-page handwritten letter, supposedly from a receptionist at a Los Angeles literary agency, alleging that a juror matching Florio Bunton's description was negotiating a deal to write a book called Standing Alone, a verdict for Nicole.
Were you negotiating a book deal?
No.
Did you ever have any conversations with any publishers or literary agents?
No.
About writing a book?
Never.
Florio Bunton has steadfastly maintained that the letter was a phony since the day she was thrown off the jury. But until now, no one has bothered to investigate, least of all the court. And to this day, there is not a shred of evidence to support the allegations against her. In fact, the preponderance of the evidence would seem to point in the opposite direction, that the letter and its contents have the appearance of a carefully constructed fraud. Who wrote the letter? The DA's office in Los Angeles is now trying to find that out.
I am aware that there have been inquiries made about the letter, and we have received some information which would tend to cast some doubt about the authenticity of the letter. Is that under investigation? It is. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
At a book signing today, we asked Simpson defense attorney Robert Shapiro if he thinks it's possible that someone connected to the defense team could have been involved in jury tampering.
Do you think it's possible that it's true?
Well, anything is possible.
We spent 3 months investigating the letter, put it through a forensic analysis by a handwriting expert, and discovered a host of inconsistencies in the letter that cast serious doubts on its authenticity. We'll have the results of all of that on Sunday. And as to the biggest question, if it's proved that there was deliberate jury tampering, could the case be retried? And the answer to that question, Dan, is no. As Mr. Hodgman told us, Mr. Simpson has been acquitted, and that's it.
Steve Croft, look forward to your full report on Sunday. New hope tonight for thousands of cancer patients, a change in U.S. government drug policy. President Clinton announced the Food and Drug Administration will speed up the approval process for dozens of new cancer drugs. Medical correspondent Dr. Bob Arnott is in Washington with the latest.
The new rules announced by the president in Washington today are aimed at cutting FDA approval times for cancer drugs in half.
The waiting is over. Today we announce a major new initiative to speed new cancer therapies to our people.
The reforms speed approvals in 4 key ways. Drugs must only show a partial response, such as reduced tumor size, not an increase in life expectancy. Access will be expanded for patients to promising unapproved experimental drugs. The FDA will actively seek out cancer drugs from other countries for approval here. Drugs approved for one cancer may be used for others without a new drug application.
These steps will speed cancer drugs to patients who need them when they need them. They will help to save lives. They will give cancer patients a better chance.
FDA Chief Dr. David Kessler was in charge of the reform.
Is this a risky process, potentially? There are certain risks. But I believe the riskiest thing we can do when we're dealing with diseases for which there are not available treatments is to be unwilling to take any risks. One day, we're going to make a mistake.
Critics say the real test of the new guidelines will come only when those mistakes are made.
If the FDA doesn't have the courage to make an admission that they may have made a mistake on one of this, many, many people are going to die or have worse survival and worse quality of life than they would without taking some of these new breakthrough drugs.
There are nearly 100 new drugs that could qualify for fast approval for cancers ranging from lung and breast to colon and prostate. The FDA expects the first approvals under the new guidelines within the next several months. Dr. Bob Arnott, CBS News, Washington.
There is another major medical story tonight. Planned Parenthood of New York City has announced it will begin making non-surgical abortions available starting this summer. The procedure uses two drugs already legal in the United States, and it could radically change the whole debate surrounding abortion, as we hear now from correspondent John Roberts.
Dr. Richard Houseknecht, one of just 3 doctors currently offering medical abortion, believes Planned Parenthood's endorsement will lead to an explosion of abortion providers.
At least half of those physicians who do not do abortions in their offices or in hospitals said that they would be willing to utilize a medical means.
The procedure uses 2 drugs in combination. Methotrexate, an approved cancer drug, stops fetal cells from growing. Misoprostol, given a few days later, causes the uterus to contract and expel the fetus. Studies show it has been 96% effective in terminating first trimester pregnancy.
What medical abortion provides in the United States is a way for women to realize Roe versus Wade, which is a decision between their own doctor and themselves.
Anti-abortion groups say they're concerned about evidence that shows doctors would be more willing to provide non-surgical abortions. They stress methotrexate, which is toxic in large doses, has not been proven safe for women.
We're very upset about the pro-abortion industry pushing these dangerous drugs and using women as guinea pigs to stop the beating heart of an unborn child.
Abortion rights advocates say this procedure could be done in your family doctor's office, changing the entire landscape of the abortion debate.
I think that there will always be some clinics providing abortion, but I think because it will spread itself out, I think it will make targets very, very difficult to find.
At a conference this weekend, abortion doctors will encourage their colleagues to make medical abortion widely available. The genie, they say, is out of the bottle. Anti-abortion groups see it more as a Pandora's box. John Roberts, CBS News, New York.
The painstaking challenge of tracking down the hacker who barged into Pentagon computers. That story is coming along. Also up next, correspondent John Blackstone looks at the law-abiding community dealing with the standoff in Montana. And a look tonight at a very special club. Its members have all walked in space.
I'm 62. Can I still help prevent osteoporosis?
It's never too late for Caltrate. Caltrate Plus has the extra calcium you need, plus 6 nutrients essential for healthy bones, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
Alan's asthma attack woke me. At 3 a.m., you don't try some unknown brand. You trust Primatene Mist.
It starts to open clogged breathing passages in as fast as 15 seconds.
We take asthma seriously with Primatene Mist.
Fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
To build something that endures takes hard-working people. People who care. People with vision. And the strength to see the job through. We know. Since 1904, that's how we built a name for ourselves in financial services. Covidian. Insurance, credit, and retirement savings.
A federal judge in Montana today refused bail for 2 leaders of the hate group calling itself, quote, the Freemen. The 2 muttered threats as they were led from the courtroom, one reportedly saying the current standoff with federal agents would end in violence, quote, worse than Waco. Correspondent John Blackstone is covering the siege of the heavily armed group's compound in Big Sky Country.
From inside their compound, the anti-government freemen were seen today patrolling the perimeter, looking out. Law officers are just a road away. The FBI has agreed to let family members try to urge the fugitives to give themselves up. At least 10 people wanted by the FBI on fraud and other charges are believed to be on the ranch. A sister of one of those inside will be allowed to deliver a letter urging surrender. But the FBI refused to let another Freeman sympathizer into the compound. Tad Silvera drove from Oregon to show support. After the FBI turned him away, he retrieved weapons he'd stashed in a ditch.
It's my right as an American to carry a weapon. Self-defense.
Well, the Freemen talk a lot about guns and laws and the Constitution. Neighbors say the real issue is debt.
To be honest, they just had too much money borrowed in the first place.
Rancher Joe Murnion owns the land just over the hill from what's now called the Freeman Compound. But for years, it was known as the Clark Ranch, until Ralph Clark couldn't pay his mortgage and taxes and declared himself a Freeman.
That's Ralph? That's Ralph and Kay. Yeah, Ralph used to shear sheep for us all the time.
Good sheep shearer?
Well, sure. He was good at that. But he was sitting there on a couple of sections, and they tried to expand, and it just didn't work.
Garfield County, Montana is truly Big Sky Country, wide open and harsh. People who make their living on this land know it is not a forgiving place.
If your banker needs $50 or $75 or $100,000 and you get a dry year, you're not going to have it. That's all there is to it.
You're living on the edge all the time.
Well, it's always separated the I guess you'd have to say the men from the boys.
Joe Murnion says many others have been forced by debt to give up their ranches. But now he worries the Freemen may give up their lives. John Blackstone, CBS News, Garfield County, Montana.
The U.S. State Department today officially condemned what it called excessive military force by the Russian army in Chechnya. The protest comes as the Russians are, they say, winding up an all-out offensive in western Chechnya. They blasted dozens of villages to rubble, trying to force out Muslim rebels. The 16-month-old war, a kind of Russian Bosnia, has left more than 30,000 people dead. President Boris Yeltsin now says he has a plan to end the conflict, and he'll present it to the nation Sunday. Still to come, Washington's brand new Taj Mahal and what you're paying for it.
It's here. New quilted Northern Ultra. No other bathroom tissue is softer. See for yourself. Only quilted Northern Ultra uses the soft quilt system, which adds 40% more gentle fibers and more cushiony quilting. Just look how soft and thick it is. New quilted Northern Ultra. It's ultra soft, it's ultra thick, and it's here.
Walking shoes? Yeah, walking shoes. Easy Spirit. Inside's our walking shoe. Outside's the whole world.
Please pass the all fruit.
Paulana all fruit is real fruit, sweetened only with fruit juice.
Would you please pass the jelly?
You'll call it delicious, you'll call it remarkable, but please, don't dare call it jelly.
I wasn't satisfied with my headache medicine, and then my doctor told me about a Rudis.
Now in non-prescription strength of Rudis KT. Just 25 milligrams is as effective as 400 of Motrin IV, 440 of Aleve, 1,000 of Tylenol. Potent of Rudis KT.
It's a great time to be silver, because you're over 50 and you haven't lost your edge. Now there's a Centrum made just for you. Centrum Silver, for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
Do music and medicine go together? These doctors and nurses think so. Hear the healing sounds of music with Charles Osgood this Sunday morning.
Some far-reaching decisions in Washington tonight. President Clinton has signed a bill that had widespread bipartisan support. It's the bill to raise the earnings limit on Social Security recipients. The limit will reach $12,500 this year and $30,000 by the year 2002. Another piece of legislation will die on President Clinton's desk. He said that he will veto the controversial bill passed today that caps punitive damage awards in product liability lawsuits. The president says it goes too far in limiting awards consumers can receive for economic loss and suffering. The first acknowledged federal wiretap of a computer network has paid off in what a U.S. attorney calls a case of cyber sleuthing. Jim Stewart has more on how the culprit who allegedly hacked his way into U.S. government computers was discovered.
The latest computer espionage victims include Harvard University, the Department of Navy, and NASA. Only prosecutors confess today they're still not sure what some whiz-kid hacker down in Buenos Aires got away with.
He gained access. What we don't know at this point is what he took away once he gained access.
The hardest part for the hacker may have been getting into Harvard's system, where he telephonically planted sniffer programs to sniff out and capture passwords, using them as a screen to infiltrate other computers.
What we quickly discovered is he had stolen the passwords of authorized Harvard users, entered the Harvard computer from someplace else, but we didn't know from where at that point.
From his father's home in Buenos Aires, the hacker was surfing through NASA's satellite reconnaissance files, aircraft design plans, and even files from Los Alamos National Laboratories. Security experts say it isn't all that hard.
Computers are linked together pretty much through the internet, which means that you can easily bounce from one computer to another computer to another computer.
By placing a court-ordered wiretap on the Harvard computers, investigators eventually pinpointed the Argentinian who kept signing off with the same vulgarity.
They explore. They're exploring what computer systems they can get into just for the thrill of getting in.
Most such computer hacking is just for the thrill of it, and no espionage charges have been filed in this case. But federal prosecutors say they are getting fed up with this kind of game, and if the young man wanted in this case ever comes to America soon, they promise, he'll find out just how fed up they really are. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
If you have made operator-assisted collect calls with MCI since 1993, you'll be getting a refund. Following an investigation by a Richmond television reporter, MCI admitted callers were overcharged about $44 million and blamed a computer software error.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see.
Feeling safe, being secure. It's why more families rely on Buick LeSabre than any other full-size sedan. Peace of mind from LeSabre.
The beginner's version. Advanced version. Arby's chicken cordon bleu. Marinated chicken filet, slow-roasted ham and Swiss. A major advance in taste.
Marge, you can't sleep. Take a Unison. It helped last time. It's not habit forming. Come on, it's okay to help yourself get a good night's sleep. All right? I love you too.
If you've been drinking, I'm sure. There's a little something you should know. Stock-to-Cal has more protein, less fat, and about twice as much calcium. No, Stock-to-Cal can't add years to your life, but it might help add life to your years.
Some folks think they'll never be a good gardener. Well, that's nonsense. All they need is confidence and a little Miracle-Gro.
I use Miracle-Gro on all my plants, from A to Z. Well, my roses love Miracle-Gro.
It's hard to believe that one plant food could be so much better than the other, but that's Miracle-Gro.
You'll never know what a great gardener you can be until you've used Miracle-Gro. Give all your new plants a better start in life with Miracle-Gro Quick Start. It's like life insurance for your plants.
It's college basketball's biggest bash of the year. Mississippi State battles Syracuse, and then Kentucky tries to derail UMass. The Final Four, Saturday on CBS.
Face-off in Montana. They call themselves the Freemen, but who are they and what do they want? Will there be another Waco, or will it end peacefully? Face the Nation Sunday.
CBS News correspondent Eric Ingberg has prepared another of his reality check investigative reports. This one is about cutting government fat. While Washington politicians have been pledging to root out pork, boondoggles, and other unnecessary spending of your tax dollars, a big building has been going up right under their noses, which suggests just the opposite. Here's what Ingberg has found out.
Historic Pennsylvania Avenue is getting a glitzy addition. The grandest, most expensive federal office building ever built. A monument that seems to mock this new era of downsized government. How'd that happen?
We were told by Congress and legislation to build a monumental building with a lot of public space, and that means you're going to build an expensive building. We're going to finish this project for probably $700 and some million.
What do you think this thing's going to cost by the time it's all over? I've seen estimates as high as $2 billion.
One thing's for sure. Not since the Pentagon was built 50 years ago has the government built anything this big.
It's 3.1 million square feet.
The 7-story atrium of this new Taj Mahal,
You're going to have a pigeon problem here.
may become a symbol for a federal edifice complex that orders up grandiose new quarters for bureaucrats just as the government is shrinking and deficits are soaring.
It'll be a very nice building. It'll be plush. It'll be lavish. And it will have been done at ridiculous cost to the taxpayer. And to come in with this project at this time is just, it's almost obscene.
Congress, without much study or thought, authorized the project 9 years ago as a home for several agencies and some businesses. It would become, ironically, the Ronald Reagan Building. But by groundbreaking, there was a huge surplus of office space in Washington.
There were probably 40 million square feet available in the region. That would equate to 3 Richmond, Virginias, completely vacant.
For years, the project was just a big hole in the ground as presidents and Congresses kept changing their minds on what the building was for and who belonged there. All this fiddling helped double the cost and put the project 4 years behind schedule.
They ought to make all the decisions up front and then give the responsibility to someone, and to quote a great American, they ought then to stay the course.
Over several decades, Peck claims the government will save money by moving workers out of rented space into a building it owns. But now he can't even be sure if his tenants will exist. The main one was supposed to be the Agency for International Development. Its enemies in Congress have barred it from moving while they try to kill the whole agency. Another, the EPA, is faced with big cuts, and critics are asking what good it does to move the Customs Service across the street.
They'll find somebody to move into it. It's just that they will be moving in there at 2 or 3 times the cost that these people should be spending on their space.
As for the agency that planned and managed this extravaganza, it was recently downsized out of existence. 1 year before the ribbon cutting. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
A professional football team named in honor of a poet? It's happening. The transplanted Cleveland Browns of the NFL picked their new name today. It's the Baltimore Ravens, after the famous poem by one of Baltimore's best-known former residents, Edgar Allan Poe.
My migraine kept me from my daughter.
The nausea was awful.
The pain was right here.
There's help for migraine. Migraine doesn't have to mean missing out. Research has given doctors new understanding about migraine. They can diagnose it better and provide surprisingly effective treatment programs.
My doctor helped so much.
Call your doctor today or call 1-800-682-6669 for more information about migraine.
He told me he needed more space. Uh-oh. He said he needs to feel more power and control in his life.
What does he want to do?
He wants a Cadillac DeVille.
Now DeVille is better than ever because now it has the North Star system and its extraordinary combination of comfort, safety, security, and performance. Nothing else feels like DeVille from Cadillac.
I told him nowhere to do.
Looking for a terrific getaway? What could be more exciting than Vegas? I'll tell you what. Cruising to Mexico aboard the Holiday or Jubilee. The Carnival Funship Cruise has all the glamour, action, fabulous food, and lavish reviews of Las Vegas. And all of it's included for one low price. And you can bet we've added a little something you could never get in Las Vegas. Mexico.
Take a 3, 4, or 7-day cruise from Los Angeles to Mexico on Carnival.
The most popular cruise line in the world.
Maalox versus acid blockers. What to choose for heartburn? This demonstration shows that acid blockers don't neutralize the acid already in your stomach. Maalox starts to neutralize that acid in minutes. Maalox, the first choice for hospitals, the fast choice for you.
Hey, that was my idea.
Sorry, plump, delicious Sunsweet orange essence pitted prunes. Sunsweet, always a sweet idea.
If all goes as planned, the shuttle Atlantis will come home tomorrow. While Atlantis was docked in orbit with Russia's space station, 2 of the astronauts joined an elite fraternity of those who've walked in space. For the Americans who've done it, the experience has been out of body and unforgettable. Scott Pelley talked to some of these heroes.
Looking down on the shuttle and the Earth below.
Only 54 Americans have stepped into orbit, pedestrians over the planet.
What do you see? The whole universe.
It's beautiful up here.
I always remember that first moment when I opened the hatch, and it was just around sunset, and there's the Earth down below, and there are the stars up there, and I'm just floating here in the middle. My whole universe just opened up in front of me.
Space is infinitely slick. There's no friction, no sound, just gentle floating.
Hey, the hand. Looks like a bird, Tom. Look at it.
The space suit floats around you. You feel, in many ways, a bit more like an Earth creature contained in a cocoon.
The best of my dreams did not come close to what I actually experienced. I had the unique feeling of being at unity with the universe.
I can actually lose my body. It's as though my consciousness can actually go outside and just be out there in space.
You feel infinitely small based on the size of the things you're looking at, including most certainly the planet.
Watch your left hand and the guy you left.
You tend to break a sweat every so often.
God dang it. Why is that grounded? I didn't get it.
The smell of the suit can be a bit like an inner-city gymnasium.
Looking good, buddy.
You see this very thin blue line on the horizon, and you realize that's the atmosphere, and that's the only thing that keeps everything on the Earth from dying.
You know, God's got a pretty good view of life down here.
Many more will walk the walk, but for each, it is a personal journey, sealed in a suit, one soul in the heavens.
It's an incredible sight.
Scott Pelley, CBS News, at the Johnson Space Center.
And that's part of our galaxy tonight. Now here's Steve Croft again with a look at some more of what's on 60 Minutes Sunday.
In addition to more, much more of that 60 Minutes OJ story I reported earlier in this broadcast, leave it to Mike Wallace to come up with television's only interview with Don Imus, complete with all the shenanigans someone should have thought about before inviting him to have dinner with the president. That's 60 Minutes Sunday.
For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Good night and have a great weekend.
A U.S. nuclear sub on a special Bosnian mission, and you are there. Swift, powerful, and until now, off.
Hibernation. Get a great deal on a new Camry. I'm talking best car built in America. So hurry. With low 2.9% APR financing, they'll be gone before the snow melts. Brand new Toyotas, special Camry values to boot. Wow, what a rush.